those are the big things. Like, mistakes are going to happen, but if you're flying around with a football, if you're physical with your hands, if you're physical with your shoulder pads when you're trying to pin ball carriers to the ground, if you're punching, if you're raking, if ball's in the air and we got a chance to make a play, we need to make it. Those are the things that I want to see. The execution part's obviously important, but again, they are not as far along as some of those defenses that had, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 reps in the defense. These guys don't have that, but what they do have is they have talent, ability, and then I want to see what their heart is. I want to see their effort level. I want to see how they play for each other, and not just defensively, but play well enough that it inspires the entire team. That's what we're looking for.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Alan Cutler. Honored and pleased to be with you. Super honored and pleased that you're spending part of your day now live, or later tonight or tomorrow morning, maybe on an exercise bike or something like that as you get ready for work. On a podcast, as we're growing with podcasts and live all across the country, truck drivers, whatever. Feedback is lovely. Ratings getting better. I appreciate you all. I'm excited. Jimmy, I got to tell you, hearing that soundbite from Brad White, does that not get you ready for football? I want to see the guys fast. I want them play fast. I want them to tackle. I want them to do this. I want to do that. Is it me, or are we so close to the kickoff that it's just a natural hype? I like how he said that. It's like, okay, boys, here we go. Yeah. Do you see it?
Yeah, and I fall victim to it every single year, and I'm happy to do it, where I buy into all the whatever the sound bites are, so because it's so close. We can taste it. Football's right here, and I just love it. I love the mentality he has, and you can tell the coaches are the same way. Like, I just want to see it, is what he wants to say.
We're tired of going against each other.
Yeah.
I think Brad White's a really good dude. He's a really good coach, and someday I think he's going to be a head coach. And my guess has been for years, it's not like we're personal friends or he's going to share it with me. My guess, he would stay here unless there were some circumstances beyond his control. First of all, he could have left for LSU a couple of years ago for a lot more money, got a nice raise here. So he could have left. And who knows how many other places, but I can see him staying here with Stoops until he gets a head coaching job because, with all negativity, they have a very, very good working relationship. Mark lets him coach, and White lets his assistant coaches coach, and there's a trust factor there. And if you think about it, oftentimes a head coach in a particular position can be a pain in the you-know-what because there are umbrellas over you. Hey, I did it this way. Obviously, Stoops and White, and it's not talked about enough, have a really good relationship. So let's go through the sound bites, and then I want to talk about two words, and that's going to be our clip of the day, Jimmy. 2 words that Stoops didn't use this week, and I got to tell you something. He's really smart, and I got to tell you something. Nobody else on any station is going to tell you this, so you want to stay with me a minute or two. All right, let's go through the clips. The other one was by David Gusto, who I'm hoping I will find the time to play some of the clips today, if not tomorrow. And everybody loves this kid, loves him for how he is so mature. He's married. He's ferocious. He's got a possibility of playing on Sundays. And that means if you say that, he's going to have to be special here. He should be the best defensive lineman on the team. I think everybody is saying that, so I'm excited about that. Little thing on the Reds. And I say this cautiously, and I hope I'm wrong. And Jimmy, you can mark it down on this day. I'm saying they're toast. They're just toast. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be nasty. They could start a 10-game winning streak and get back in it. They had their opportunity, and I said this at the time when the Mets stunk. The Mets were awful. They went through one of those streaks. Now the Mets just swept the Phillies. Now think about that. The Phillies, the team they had to beat, just swept them. They're playing really good ball. Okay, so they just blanked him out with a kid named McClain. That this pitcher's pitched 3 games, and he's like Cy Young. Jimmy, you've seen his numbers. It's ridiculous. He has been, for the last 10 days, one of the top 5 pitchers in all of baseball. And I got to tell you the truth, never heard of his name until the Mets called him up. I mean, I don't know every minor leaguer, and I'm not saying it's just him, but they're different now. Okay, they have so much more talent than the Reds. It's not even funny. And look at the numbers. Phillies blanked by the Mets 6-0. Mets sweep the Phillies. Reds suck in Los Angeles. Dodgers sweep the Reds. Dodgers sweep the Reds. Last night it was 5-1. And they're not hitting. They're not hitting. And Tito thinks it wasn't pressure. Basically said the Dodgers pitching was so good. There's no way. There's no way. And I got to tell you one more thing. When they made the trade for Brian Hayes, if you remember, management said, we have to get our defense better. This was a trade for defense. Well, what the hell is defense when you got Espinal in right field and Marte, who can barely catch a ball in right field, you're sticking him in center field? Espinal is a AAA player. He should be the last guy in your roster for double switches, and if a guy needs a rest, he can play any position. He can hit. He's not a great fielder, but he can field anywhere. And if you have Marte and him in your outfield defensively, you got to be kidding. Look who the Mets have. There's no way. And here's the final caveat as to why the Reds have no chance. And we have every pitch right here on 1300 AM and 92.5 FM, and I love listening. I do. When I'm in the car, I listen all the time. It's not Marty and Joe. It's not nearly as good, but I just love listening to baseball. I listen to them many times when I'm at the YMCA. I will still do the same thing, even though I think they're done. They are 68 and 66. They are 2 games above 500. 2 games. 2 games. The Mets are 72 and 61. Really? So 4 games up on the winning side and a 5-game advantage on the losing side. September's about here. In the next 30 days, I don't see the Mets crumbling and or the Reds going on a 9 or 10 game winning streak. They're toast. And I hope I'm wrong. Trust me. Middle of September, end of September, if they can do it, getting close means nothing. Do they get in the wild card? They either do or don't. They are toast. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 2 games above 500. Sad. It really is. There's always next year. To Mark Stoops. He did something very smart this week. And I mean really smart. Zach Calzada has said he's a game manager. And there's no question in my mind that Bush Hamden, in his meetings with him, has pushed that in. Here's a kid, an incarnate word, he's throwing the ball all over the place, very successfully, too. Whether you say it's a lower level of football or not, doesn't make a difference. He was very successful, and he's got a gun. And so what he is doing is adjusting to the coaching staff here. Okay, makes sense. And he said, I'm a game manager. But Stoops won't say it. So the media threw it back at Stoops, and they said, hey, look, Zach Calzada, your starting quarterback, says he's a game manager, and he wouldn't bite. Why wouldn't he bite? Think about it. It's all about recruiting. Seriously. Think of the kid in Cincinnati, number 1 baseball prospect in Ohio, number 16 nationally, number 9 as a quarterback in Max Preps. Okay? Do you think that kid and that family wants to hear that when Matt Ponatoski comes to Lexington KY, he's a game manager? That's a dirty word to him. The kid's got a gun for an arm. Throws in the upper 90s in baseball. You can't recruit a kid who's that highly ranked as a game manager. If Stoops says my quarterbacks are game managers, first of all, you think anybody is stopping to recruiting this kid? Of course not. And if you're Tennessee or any school that likes to throw the ball, you say, hey, kid, you don't want to go there. You're just going to be a game manager. Come to us. We're a better program. You'll get to throw the ball more. Mark Stoops was really smart. What he said was, when the shots are open downfield, you got to take the shots. And we like to run the ball. That's a paraphrase. That's what he said. It's basically the same thing. But semantically speaking, Stoops refused to say game manager. I thought it was really smart. So, with all the stuff going on in Mark Stoops, I'm a very simple man. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. Okay? When Mark Stoops lost his way, I said it. I also said they're going to a bowl game this year. I also said I'm rooting for him. Now I'm also saying he was really smart, not responding, yeah, I want my quarterbacks to be game managers. Jimmy, that should be easy to clip. So that'll be teased in all kinds of places as we're doing different kind of things to help promote the show. And Jimmy, did you see the genius that I'm not technically? I'm actually in the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
Are you shocked?
I did pick up on that. I was glad.
Well, I got really mad at myself. I have a great setup here at home in my office, and I can't seem to get it right being in the middle. And I saw, Jimmy, as you sent it out to get clipped off, and I thought I had a pretty good rant yesterday. But you see, like my ear at times, right?
Yeah.
And that's not your fault. Guess whose fault it is? It's my fault. And so I've been trying to figure this thing out. Okay, so I think we have it. And because of that, and this part's going to be slow growth. The podcasts are going up and up and up. Listening online are going up and up. My ratings are going up and up and up. And Jimmy, I think there's 52 people that have subscribed to the ESPN Sports Radio YouTube. So now, Jimmy, if you think it looks better, I might be more apt to say, hey, check us out on YouTube, and would you please subscribe? And by the way, I don't think this is going to be a big deal for us. I think the podcast will continue up much quicker than this, but I could be wrong. It's another avenue for exposing your show, which is what you have to do today. Radio has changed. You have radio, and radio is beautiful. I love doing radio. I started in radio. I'm going to end up finishing in radio probably. But you have to take advantage of all the places. When there are folks in Cincinnati and Louisville and Indianapolis and lots of other places who are listening right now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. I don't think they were going to pull the plug. And I don't think they were going to do it. I love Dawn Staley. Not only is she a great coach, she's tough. Can't question her knowledge as a coach. Can't question what she did as a player. She's not afraid to take it away from a player, which is one of the problems in football that Stoops has and other people have had. Hey, I don't want to lose my guy, so therefore I'll lose my way. But Stoops got it back, so God bless, more power to him. It was commonly known that she interviewed for the head coaching job of the New York Knicks. What I don't know, was it BS? Was it a token interview? Or was it serious? So she came out and said, had she been offered the job, she would have accepted it. I think she can do it. I really do. I think the world has changed enough. If you're good, you're good. She's a great coach. She knows basketball. Now, Jimmy, remember I told you the story the other day that John Wooden, back in the 60s, was offered the job to be the skipper of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he loves baseball. And the reason why he told the Pirates that it wouldn't work, he didn't think the players would listen to him. And I think for a long time, whether it's right or wrong, I'm not claiming sexism, I'm not calling race, I'm not calling anything. I'm talking society, okay? For a long time, I have questioned if guys would listen to a female head coach, whether it was in men's college basketball or the NBA. And I have thought that you have to have the right person. To me, Dawn Staley would be the right person. And she was kind of funny what she said, and she's a Philadelphia girl and really proud to be from Philadelphia. And she basically said, it's the Knicks, but I would have done it anyway. I'm a Philadelphia girl. I mean, she's loyal now and got tons of friends. I'd love to see the right person do it, which makes it easier for the second person, unless you're such a miserable failure. And this is one of the things I can't stand about sports. Let's say Dawn Staley became the head coach of the Knicks, and all of a sudden they were awful. Okay. And they fired her. Unfortunately, it would be much tougher for the next female to get that opportunity. And I've never bought that right away, because if you think it's the right person, period. Or let's say you've hired assistant coaches 2 times in a row and it didn't work out. Well, therefore they say, well, we can't hire another assistant coach. No, you hire another assistant coach to be the head coach if you think it's the right person. And there's too much in our sports society where people making these decisions don't get it. Now, here's one of the things that she thinks why she didn't get the job. She said she was too honest with the Knicks, saying, do you realize, which I'm sure they did, but now when you emphasize it, sometimes you make somebody think more. They're not stupid, the people she was sitting down and talking to. I know she was talking to Leon Rose and probably one or two other people. That I don't know, but that's my guess. But she kept on saying, and she said it a number of times, do you realize the ramifications of hiring me as a female coach and how difficult it would be? How many times would she be asked about it? I know what I would do if I was her. I'd have a very simple rule. I'm going to talk about it in the press conference, okay? And the first time I go to any city, I will respond to that if asked. And after that, I'm not talking about it. Not going to talk about it because I've already answered that question. Now, if that sounds hypocritical because I am a media person who loved asking questions, I have no problem with that. But I also think at a certain point, it's enough. It's enough. So hopefully one of these days, there'll be a very talented female who has earned the right to be a head coach in the NBA. And it's not a gimmick, by the way. No. I don't want a gimmick. First of all, Dawn Staley wouldn't be a gimmick. No. I thought Becky Hammond would be a head coach in the NBA. And she's at the WNBA and loves doing it. And she says she's happy there. And I believe it, by the way. And she got some interviews where she said she thought it was basically a token. She also said she had an inkling that there was a team that might want to hire her, but they just couldn't pull the trigger because she's a female. I don't get it. I really don't. It's chicken. Speaking of not talking to the media, I had a weird thought. And by the way, I'm going to connect dots, and I'm telling you, I don't know if it's true. So I think it was on Tuesday, we played a bunch of Jason Candle sound bites. Jason, the great coach, and I'm using the word great on purpose. You're 73 and 40. Come on now. Okay? He's done a great job at Toledo, and he talks to the media on Monday, and that's it. That's it. And I got to tell you, when I found that out on Monday, hunting and pecking around, I'm going, Now, Jimmy, this is a stretch. I want you to tell me, am I connecting the dots for no reason? Mark Stoops now will stop talking on Thursdays to the media unless there's a reason. Now, let me throw two things at you. One, I wonder if somebody told Stoops, hey, Jason Candle only talks once a week. Why the hell are you talking more than that? That's a little bit. I can also tell you there were times, even when I was still doing TV, Stoops didn't like doing the Thursday things, and he would do it really quick. By the way, this is not negative towards Stoops at all. It was kind of like, I'm talked out. There's really nothing new. I can't tell you anything about injuries. I've talked to you on Monday. I have nothing else to say, and he doesn't like talking to the media. Nothing negative towards Stoops. So Slack sends out a release from UK and basically said, we're changing our schedule. Coach won't talk on Thursdays unless there's a reason. Not surprised, by the way. I'm not ripping him for not doing it either. I just find it an interesting coincidence that Candle of Toledo, and by the way, Mark Byer, the play-by-play guy, will join us tomorrow. Thank hat tip to Lynn Martin, who set it up. And in Toledo, Candle talks only once. Jimmy, that could be a coincidence, maybe not. And I have no inside information about that. But I swear to you, Jimmy, on Monday, because I was looking, okay, did other players talk and what'll be on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And then later in the day, Slack's actually sent it out to everybody, and I already chopped it up. That's fine. It's easy to find on YouTube. I said, why does Stoops talks on Thursday when he sees somebody who's on a step down, and that's what they are. Toledo wins are still a step down. They ain't the SEC. We all know that. He only talks once. So I found that very, very, very interesting. Let me throw a quick note in about the JMI and the deal, the NIL, and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't mention this the other day. I talked about it at length and had talked about it. My information was correct when this thing came out. And then the following day. And one of the things I didn't mention this week and didn't push enough, and here's what I don't know. I don't know what other schools are going to do. Okay? This stuff is groundbreaking. I wonder if two things. What JMI is doing with UK, I wonder if that will force other schools to get the same thing. Look, everybody's copying everybody else, and everybody's watching what Kentucky's doing. And what Kentucky's doing is, I don't know if it's groundbreaking, but it's definitely ahead of most of the pack. I don't know enough about all the schools in the country to say that, but I don't know anybody else is doing this. That's not to suggest there isn't somebody. One of the things that JMI will do for players, They have these beautiful studios that they've built right by Rupp Arena. You've probably walked by it if you go into a game. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And they are going to make those studios available to the players. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. One of the things that JMI can do, Jimmy, you're going to be the quarterback. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, and you have X number of deals that have already been put together. Now, let's say in the Georgia game, you're the starting quarterback. Dude, you throw 4 touchdown passes, right? Kentucky upsets Georgia, right? Everybody's going crazy, right? Well, you're hotter than you know what. Well, the JMI folks can go try to sell you to more sponsors and make a quick deal because you're hot. They can do that, which is terrific. But here's the thing they can do. They can help with what's called the brand, your brand, and what you're doing. They will help you with social media and all that kind of stuff to amplify it, amplify it, amplify it. And then when something like that with Georgia happens, boom, they're on it and they're spamming out like crazy to get more people interested, which gets you what? Some sponsors interested. So I just wanted to push that out. I'm not shilling for JMI. That has nothing to do, and I'm not shilling for Kentucky. I'm just saying this is part of the deal, and I found it very attractive. Very attractive. And as I said the other day, just to repeat, because somebody else said it the wrong way, at another station where they've got 50 stations, I don't need to mention the name. I'm being sarcastic. Happy birthday, Matt. God bless you, what you've done. But JMI is not on the hook for anything. They're not. They're not. They're not saying, I'm going to get you $1 million, and if I only get you $500,000, we have to write a check. They're not. They shouldn't be. They would never do it. But the point is this. They have the wherewithal with tons of clients that are already part of their umbrella. Jimmy, I know we got to go to the break in a second, but I think the content part is huge, don't you? First of all, you can say, what does a college kid know about their brand? Let me tell you something. What does a 28-year-old baseball player in the major leagues know about their brand? I'm very sensitive. Well, he's just a kid. He wouldn't know. What would a 28-year-old who's starting and batting cleanup know about their brand if somebody didn't take care of it? Maybe 1 or 2. That's it. So really, don't give me this crap. Oh, it's a kid. They have to be taken care of. Stop it. Stop it. I got to tell you, I think I know social media better than I know technical stuff. Thank God. You're laughing at me, Jimmy, but it's the truth. We know it, right? And if I wanted to raise my brand, and I'm 72, it's not like I need to raise my brand. It'd be nice. I would take it. It would help the show. That's all good. And I know social media pretty well, but it's not like I'd be an expert. I think I could do it. Don't really want to do it with somebody who would do it for me. That's not the point. The point is that they can help sell your brand. And I got to tell you, first of all, it helps JMI and the player because if they make your brand bigger, it's easier for them to sell you. Duh. I think it's great. Whatever you're doing with the cameras and stuff, people on YouTube are appreciating now, Jimmy. Good stuff. See, you're a camera genius. But seriously, Jimmy, can't you see the value of what I'm talking about and the value for a player to say, hey, they can get me this sponsor, that sponsor. Hey, I just scored 3 touchdowns rushing the ball, and I scored the winning touchdown with 4:35 to go, and the crowd was cheering and stuff like that, and I made an extra $10,000. Seriously, I'm being serious now, an extra $10,000 because my brand has gone up, and they went out and sold me. These are some of the things that are absolutely going to happen. You see the value in this, Jimmy.
Yeah, the only thing that I think is funny is that the people that say, how does an 18 or 20-year-old know their brand? I think the person who knows their own brand the most is that person. And this younger generation is a lot more tech savvy, and not just tech savvy, but like social media, and they know how to manipulate things and post things and say things way more than just why, because someone works for a marketing company. They know you as a brand better than you do. They can sell your brand, sure, but the player knows their own brand the best and what they like and how to sell themselves, in my opinion. The player does more than someone just because they have a degree.
I agree with that partially. So I think there are some players where it's bullseye, and then the marketing people can do the execution that you might not be able to do with all the different various sources.
Yeah.
But let's say the players that are on TikTok and stuff like that are doing it, they might be better than the people marketing. And if you're suggesting that part, couldn't agree with you more. But the fact that you have the studios and all that stuff available to you, I think it's great. Now, I'm agreeing with you 100%. An 18-year-old probably knows more about their brand than a 28-year-old or 35-year-old. There are some wonderful people in LM Communications that might not know their brand, and there's a lot of talent in that building, might not know their brand as well as maybe an 18 or 19-year-old. I'm not trying to be nasty, but I can see that. Can you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It all helps. All right, coming up, the one, the only, Van Hiles. I love Van Hiles. He's so much fun. He really is. And then at 1:30, Steve Tressel will be joining us. Steve does a little play-by-play for the Legends and Campus Pub. Steve and I will be together. We will be doing the pregame shows at Campus Pub, where we've done it before. It's a great place to eat. Really is. It's a couple blocks from the stadium. You can walk from there to the game. And we will be on an hour 45, unless there's some programming thing I don't know about and things change, but an hour and 45 before the game. And they're being so nice that we're getting off 15 minutes before the game so I can get to the stadium. Isn't that nice? I don't know if Steve's going to the stadium, but I can make the stadium from where you're going. So come on down to Campus Pub. Join us. The food is great. We have a good time. Steve will get into the crowd. He's really good at that. So we're going to have fun all year. Pregame shows. I think I'm going to miss 2 with my schedule, but I'm looking forward to it. Van is in the waiting room. All right, Van. Hey, Van, if you need a car, let me tell you, drive all the way up to Lexington because the people at Quantrill Auto Group will treat you great. They will treat you great. And, Van, I bet you know that the Outback is a special car. It is a special car. But the deal through the end of the month, amazing. 0% interest, 0% for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, it's 1.9. What a deal. 0% for 36 months. Come on in from Louisville. Check out the Quantrill folks because they're really that good. It's a special dealership. And don't forget that the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise to get you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks. 0% interest for 36 months. Van Hiles coming up next. Having fun with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrill Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313. Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
It's summertime, and that means it's time to hit the road. Whether you're heading across town or across the state, going on a picnic, to a baseball game, or driving to the lake, stop by, fill up, and stock up at Clark's Pump and Shop, your road trip headquarters.
Clark's Pump and Shop has everything you need to get you to your summertime destination, including assorted Jolly Rancher or Twizzler peg bags, 2 for $5, and Jack Link's 2-ounce steak strip or extra large beef and cheese, 2 for $6.
Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel.
Listen to the Alan Cutler Show weekdays noon to 2 on ESPN 92.5 and 1300 AM and on the ESPN Lexington app.
I think just
growing
in the system, learning to play within the system, and spent a lot of time with Coach Bush, and just knowing when to take certain chances and when to keep us ahead of the sticks, and just operating in the offense. Coach Stoops said that you get a little itch and you want to use that big arm. Is it tough sometimes to pull back the reins and not let that thing fly, dude? Yeah, I mean, I think I like to go by the saying, I got to be Clark Kent until it's time to be Superman, and that might be in game one, and it might not be. I just, playing within the system and doing whatever the team needs me to do.
Man, do I like that line. Being Clark Kent until it's time to be Superman. This gentleman, kind enough to join us, is Superman in his own mind. He stays away from kryptonite. He jumps tall buildings from a single bounce. Actually, back in the day, he probably could. Not anymore, with all the white stuff in his beard. Pleased and honored, and I mean that, to have Van Hiles, former Studley DB for Kentucky, who played a little bit in the NFL, and now a podcast maven, talk show maven. You're all over the world, which I appreciate and respect what you do. And I've told you, you could do color on football games, and you should, but, you're coaching high school. You can't get started that way and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Van Hiles, bless you, brother. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me. And then I got a couple questions for you.
Well, of course, I'm going to take us off on a tangent real quick. I'm not happy right now. You are making me miss the Diamond League finals in track and field to be on your little show when I could be watching the greatest athletes on the planet jumping, hurling, leaping. But nah, I'm here listening to you ramble as we go on this beautiful Thursday afternoon.
One, you could have said no. Two, my little show is growing in leaps and bounds. Okay. And three, that's the best you got? Okay. So let me throw this at you. That was Zach's soundbite about what he's learned since he's been here. I did a rant early on, opening up the show. Let me do it succinctly.
Okay.
Believe it or not, and I want you to respond. And I thought this was really smart by Stoops. So I don't know how many days ago, but Zach was asked a question, and he said, I'm a game manager. Okay. And so then what the media did, which was smart, they then told Stoops, I think it was on Monday, he said, hey, Zach says he's a game manager. And Stoops, I thought was really smart. This was really good chess. Let me explain why, and then I want you to see. One, did you really see it? I bet you didn't. I think I got you on this one. If not, you'll be honest with me. Oh, come on. Yeah. We have fun going up and back. And two, really smart by Stoops. So what Stoops says, paraphrase, hey, we know everybody knows we like to run the ball, but you got to take shots when the shots are open downfield. Okay. What he didn't say and refused to say and was very smart not to say, I'm telling you, I'm giving Stoops love on this one. He didn't say game manager. And here's the point. That's like Callan recruiting. You're always recruiting. You think Matt Ponatowski, one of the top quarterbacks in the country, the number one baseball player in Ohio, wants to hear, or his parents want to hear, son, you're going to Kentucky and you're only going to be a game manager? Do you think any quarterback that Bush Hamden is talking about, the future going in his home, wants to hear, oh, son, we really want you, but you're only going to be it's a negative connotation. Come on, you played quarterback 1,000 years ago. It's a negative connotation. So Stoops says, yeah, we like to run the ball, but we want to take shots when they're available downfield. He basically said you're a game manager, and I get it. I'm not ripping Stoops. I'm telling you, he's really smart. He wouldn't say those two words. But he's a game manager, one. And two, you agree with me? Stoops is really smart not to use those two dirty words for quarterbacks of the future.
Yeah, for sure. And
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You got to be a little louder when you agree with me.
It was okay. It was kind of. Here's the deal. People take words and make it. There's not a Merriam dictionary definition of game manager, and people take upon themselves to make their own definition. Every quarterback, 95% of quarterbacks in this world are game managers. There are only a couple Patrick Mahomes. There's only a couple Aaron Rodgers. Like, the majority of us is game managers. What I mean by that is that possess the ball, don't turn the ball over, don't do stupid things. There's only a certain amount of people who have arm talent, or as we call it, arm arrogance, that can do certain things that go against the norm. When you get into a situation of your quarterback who does unconventional things that puts your team in bad situations because he wants to make a throw when a guy's wide open or whatever, but he wants to make the throw in a tight window, those guys don't play long. And If you want to say Zach is a game manager, okay. Some guys wear it like a badge of honor. What I will say this, and I looked this up today. The guy has only had 9 interceptions as a high each season. That's his ceiling. A guy who only has 9 interceptions, a guy who knows how to take care of the ball with the amount of times, the amount of opportunities he had to throw the ball. That's one thing I think that we as fans need to be excited about is a guy who can throw the ball a lot, but also takes care of the ball and gets the ball in the right person's hands. He's a 25, 26-year-old who has seen
I'm
a
sorry,
lot
did
of
you say
things.
did you say he was 43? I couldn't hear you. He's going to be 25.
He's 43 in football years in college.
You know what? That's a good way of putting it. Go ahead, Van.
No, he is an experienced quarterback that I've seen a lot, who has a history of protecting the ball, which is huge for every team that aspires to be a great team. And I'm glad he's on our team and not somebody else's.
Good stuff. Everybody is sort of a game manager except the elite, but you're going to agree with me, and I agree with most of what you're saying. There are different degrees.
Yes.
There are different degrees. And this is a young man. He's got a howitzer. He really does. I'm not saying we got to see more first, but I've looked at enough tape. You've probably looked at more than I'm sure you've looked at more than I have. I'm not saying the kid has the best arm in the history of Kentucky football. I'm not going there. The kid's got an arm. It's going to take something to tell me anybody can throw the ball further and higher with more accuracy than Jared Lorenzen did. I mean, that's just me. And the arm isn't everything as great as Jared was, because you've run across some guys who could, throw it through a round tire and not get wet, but that doesn't mean you're a great quarterback. So we're going with that. But I really believe he didn't say game manager because it's a negative connotation to recruits. So you do agree with me?
No, correct. It is an unfortunate thing that's got around about it being negative. So you can't say it. So yeah, if you bring that out, most people are gonna say, well, that means he's gonna throw check downs, that they call them check down Charlies. He's not gonna push the ball down the field. He's gonna throw 2-yard screen routes, 90% of his throws. That's not sexy for fans. So you can't say that. But in a grand scheme of things, as you said, there's variations of it. And if you get the middle level of it with the ability, and as he said, the great thing he said was to become Superman. Sometimes you need to push the ball down the field if secondaries are not respecting your wide receiver. Sometimes you need to make them respect them.
By the way, I really like the term that you use that I never use. I'm going to start using. I'll give you credit the first time, then I'm going to forget about you.
Uh-oh.
No, I liked it. Arm arrogance.
Arrogance.
Have you been saying that a long time? Did you make that up? Or you still
No,
somebody else?
No. I got that from somebody.
Okay. I really like it. I don't know why I haven't used it before, but I'm going to start. And since I will give you credit one time in another show, then after that, I'm going to say, Van who? Who is that Van? I don't know. Toledo.
Yes.
Jason Candle, 73-40 as a head coach. Okay. I'm assuming he's turned down a lot of jobs. I knew he played at Mount Union. I knew Nick Sirianni played at Mount Union. Credit goes to Jimmy. I'll give him credit again because they were roommates, which I did not realize. Wow. So credit to Jimmy. And they both started coaching together right when they graduated as wideouts at Mount Union. And then, come on, you've done this a long time. And I know you can. I don't give a crap if it's lower level of football. If they like you enough that you're going to go on their staff as a GA and what they were doing right away, they really like you and respect you. One more, and then I really want you to respond, but I have to ramble, as you would say, to get to you. Mount Union has won 13 national championships. That's a great program. It's one of the greatest programs in the history of sports in any level in collegiate athletics. I respect the small colleges. They won 2 when he was there. He was taught the right way. He bought in the right way. His press conference on Monday was about 17 minutes. I don't know if you heard it, but let me suggest just go on YouTube and find it.
Okay.
It's really good. Now, here's what I don't know. If I listen to him 100 times, would I get tired of it or something like that? As you get tired of listening to coaches sometimes. Yes. As, coaches might get tired of me. I have no problem with that. There's a decisiveness in his voice that I like a lot. But again, I don't know if I'd listened to him 100 times, I'd get tired of it. I really like this guy. I'm surprised he's not somewhere else. I'm assuming he's turned down all kinds of other jobs. He's making 7 figures at Toledo. You know, if he stays there for the next 20 years, he'll make $30 million and then some. How much do you need? And the way I understand it, it's his program. He is in total control, total control. So let's say he can get a job in the SEC, but it's a bad school. Why would you want to leave there, as a lot of coaches do? God, I want to make $6 million a year. You're making over $1 million a year. How much do you need? You can't spend all the money that you're making in Toledo. I mean, God bless him. I don't understand why more guys like that, instead of saying, it's not that I'm afraid to take a bigger job, but I have it really good here. He's kept his staff together. I mean, he takes care of his people. He's got a wonderful organization. This is a big-time coach. My point is, I think people need to realize how organized and how successful. Now, Toledo's been a have program for a long time. So it's not like, the day he took over, it was as bad as it was for Stoops when the cupboard was really bare. And that's also fair, too. But this is a big-time coach and a big-time program, and I don't think it's getting enough love.
Yeah, I agree. And first of all, I knew that was a reason why I like Jimmy. Jimmy was a wide receiver in college. It all makes sense. Today is what? August 28th, 29th, whatever it is. This is a day of reckoning. Now I get it, Jimmy. Now I get it. See what I'm doing, Mr. Cutler? I'm buttering up to Jimmy before I come up and play press man.
You always butter up to Jimmy.
Hey, I'm buttering up to Jimmy until I come up and play press man and choke him out. That's all. I'm just buttering him up until his 3rd and 8, and he thinks he got me. And like, yeah, I got you now. I'm coming press man, and now you're in my area of town now. Yeah, okay, Jimmy, I get it. Yeah, that's awesome. I knew it was something, Mr. Cutler.
Jimmy, let me tell you something. If Van had to guard you, he's 32 years older than you. I'm betting on you, even though Van honestly was a big-time DB for Kentucky and a smart DB as well.
Okay, yeah. Put me in my prime against Jimmy, and I'm choking him out.
The only way I've got a chance if it's red zone and they call a fade, I can use my height.
Okay,
that was really all I had.
Okay, Jimmy.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? In your prime, would I give it to Jimmy on a fade? I would.
Jimmy's what? 6 what?
6'4".
Oh, sheesh, Jimmy. God. Well, you almost made me say a bad word, Jimmy.
Matter of fact, Jimmy looked like his hand was moving to the right. Where
Jimmy, you did not look like. I know it's crazy for me to say you don't look like you're 6'4" when you're sitting down.
He's sitting down.
6'4"?
Hey, wait a second. We're on YouTube now, so people can read your lips.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying the words.
Okay. And by the way, if you join us on YouTube, now that I have the screen set properly, is this the first time I've done this right? We've been doing it about a month?
I think so.
Okay. I'm a slow learner. Close. So if you see Van, you're worth the price of admission, seeing your facials when we do this. ESPN Sports Radio 1300 on YouTube. And if you go there, please subscribe. Maybe we'll get to 100 people by the next 5 years. We're growing in every way. This is just starting. Just starting. But yeah, I would bet on Jimmy. I would absolutely bet on Jimmy. Okay.
Well, now I did jump 6'8" in high school in the high jump. Now don't sleep on the verts.
I didn't know it was 6'8", but Jimmy, I can tell you, I really don't like saying this with him here. He was a really good athlete.
Don't sleep on the verts.
Okay. One part of the game that Kentucky has that concerns you the most is
the cohesiveness. Have they really gelled as a unit? The O-line. Second thing is a small thing, but it's a huge thing. And it's not talked about a lot, is the cadence of Zach Calzada in the offense. Are we going to get a lot of pre-snap motions and all the little things that sets your offense behind the chains because you jump off sides or 2 guys in motion, like the little things. Those are the things that concern me the most. Are we going to be able to fine tune the little things? Because last year those little things bit us in the you know what. And when we're not a team, we don't have the explosive athletes to be 1st and 15 consistently. And that's concerning.
Okay, one, here's where you're wrong. That's not a little thing, it's a big thing. Two, I'd like to say I've brought this up 20 times over the last 4 months. I haven't brought it up once. So I have questioned the snapping part because that has been an issue, snapping the ball. But the cadence part, I've never brought up once. And so kudos to you for bringing it up. Burton he's a big, strong kid now. I mean, you look at him now versus 2 years ago, but there were some problems with him snapping the ball early on. Maybe it's being made of as a big deal, but if he becomes a really good center, he now, I think, is somebody that the NFL will watch depending upon how he plays this year. And I forgot who said it, but we had the tape of it, that apparently NFL is looking at. That doesn't mean you're drafting guys. Stock, as you know, goes up, and that's a long, long season. And they're looking at a lot of guys at a lot of places that are not going to get drafted. So I don't blow up something that's not. But the fact that they have 5 offensive linemen apparently that they're looking at is pretty impressive. But the cadence thing, I hadn't thought of that. They're not used to that. And here's why you're wrong. It's not a little thing. Because of the negativity around here, because I believe that these kids honestly believe that it's changed. I am an expert on confidence with athletes. It's what I've done forever. And when you have a group of people, even though many of them are new, I get it, and they've changed things. If you would have, and I hope it doesn't happen once, if you would have 2 or 3 cadence problems in the first half, you can deflate the entire sidelines. So that's not a little thing. It is kind of a big thing. And the deflation happens even bigger when you're coming off a season where there's negativity, because it's in your cranium, it's in your brain. Oh, blank, 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 here we go again. And so it's not little. I applaud you for bringing it up. Good for you for bringing it up. But they're both big things. They really are. And give yourself some credit for pointing it out. I have no idea. Do I think they've worked on it like crazy? Yes. I think Zach Calzada is a great kid. I think the center is a great kid. Actually, from what I've seen, all the offensive linemen, they're really good kids. That doesn't mean they can play, but I think they're really good kids, Van.
They are. And if cadence is, we don't think about this a lot, but I'm going to tell you why cadence is important, just to expound on it. It's not even just the offensive side. If you get in a situation where people are jumping outside because you're trying to change the snap count, know what happens on defense? Oh, we know they're going on 1. Oh, we know. Those guys can't handle going on 2 or 3 or whatever. Oh, so it's going to be on ready, go. Oh, so now as a defensive end, guess what? I'm going to start timing up. The ready, go. I'm not worried about reacting to the ball snap because I know y'all can only go on 1. It becomes a big problem. Paul's talking about the O-line. The most important person this year is Burton. And here's the reason why. Braun is a all-SEC player, played on another SEC team. Don't want to talk about them. But he has the experience.
What are you afraid to say? What are you saying? You want to say Arkansas?
Oh, it's Arkansas? No, I don't talk about it. I don't talk about Arkansas. It's bordering us.
I know. You're anti-hog your whole life.
Yeah, by the way, we don't like Arkansas here.
Do you eat bacon?
Oh, do I?
So you're not as anti-hog as you say.
No. No, I just so Braun we already know is solid. Mr. Leach said that people are raving about Former. And he was decent last year, which they say he has improved a lot. So he's solid. If the center is anywhere close to solid, we are going to be exceptional in the middle. And there is no better for a quarterback and for a running back. Those 3 guys are the most important thing, because as a quarterback, that means I can step up into the pocket. For the running back, that means at least I have time before someone comes up on me quickly to be able to read and find a gap, have good vision, because I'm not worried about the 1 and 3 technique right in my lap. It is huge. If Burton is solid, this offense is going to be solid.
And they're going to run left a lot, and the defense is going to know they're going to run left. And you know what? If you're really good, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Stop me if you can. Wouldn't it be great to have an offense where the defense knows what you're doing? Stop me if you can. Oh, my gosh.
It just happened. Was that not 2019 when Lynn Bowden took over quarterback about a little more than halfway in the season, and we knew he was going to carry the ball the lion's share of the times, and no one could stop him?
Well, you also didn't know where he was going to run the ball.
Well, that too.
You know, I will never figure that out. Of everybody who's played football here, and there have been other players where, like Andre Woodson is actually number 2 on my list, that I just don't think they gave him enough time. I think if somebody had patience with him, let's put it this way.
NFL.
If the Dallas Cowboys had the same patience with Tony Romo as the New York Giants did with Andre Woodson, Tony Romo wouldn't have made a gazillion dollars in broadcasting. That for some reason Parcells had patience with him, which is not a patient guy, so he obviously saw something. And they had no patience with Andre Woodson, and it just ticked me off because he's a beautiful young man. He's smart. He just wasn't comfortable in the system yet. Well, okay, he was a rookie, wasn't comfortable, and what an arm and accuracy. I mean, sometimes these NFL and look. I'm not an NFL scout, but I can see certain things. I mean, that was obvious. But Bowden, his life was football. His whole life was football. You know, let me finish this rant. And I want you to respond. Everybody says they love football, and everybody says they want to go to the NFL. Okay, and not everyone who's 6'10" likes basketball. There are 7-footers who don't like basketball, even though, hey, you got to play basketball, kid. You're 6'10". That doesn't mean you like basketball. And so, do I think every player at Kentucky or Toledo loves football? No. Do I think most of them do? Yes. Do some like it more than others? Absolutely. Is there a select few on Toledo or Kentucky or Tennessee that it's so important, it's unbelievable? Yes, I put Lynn Bowden in that category with all his talent, and he got cut so quickly. The first time, it's not even funny. He kept on getting cut and cut and cut and cut and cut. I don't understand how he didn't make it. And you know, when you get cut that many times, he had to be doing something wrong.
Well, the NFL is a really tough spot for elite athletes because it's the first time in your life that everyone is elite. There's no differentiation between undrafted free agent and really a second round draft pick. It's really not. The difference is slight. So what happens in the NFL is you got to be in a situation where the GM, your position coach, and the head coach believes in you. If one of them doesn't, you're gone because you can only carry 53 men. And what happens is there are a lot of great players who don't make it because for whatever reason, they don't gel well with their position coach. Or the GM likes another player better than him. Or the head coach feels like we need more this position than that position. There's so many layers to making the NFL that people don't understand. It is if you make it on an NFL roster, you are beyond elite. I don't care how long it is. And I didn't realize that until I got into my 30s of, man, you think about it, like there are a lot of guys who ain't stay in the league, but didn't even make the league or didn't even get out of the practice squad. Like for you to make an NFL team is the most difficult thing you will ever do as far as football's concerned.
I'm sorry for stepping on you, Van. It's a really good rant. Really sorry for stepping on you, especially since I can see your face and I still jumped on you. Shame on me. When you were done and you didn't want to be done, and they said, hey, time to turn in your playbook, how tough of a time was it, and how quickly could you get over it? Because one of the things you've been smart about doing, you love the game. You're coaching the game. You stayed in the game. I mean, you're a lifer, which I respect tremendously, and your knowledge I respect tremendously. I'm being really serious with you. But when they told you you were done, and you probably were like most guys, didn't think you should be done, do you mind talking about that? How bad was it for you? Did you get over it in 2 minutes, 5 days? I doubt it. How were you mentally that, something that you did? I'm going to guess you were playing football since you were 5. I don't know that, but I'm guessing you were one of those little peewee kids that was the fastest guy on the team, and you ran around the end and you didn't know what you're doing initially, but you just ran by everybody. And then you started figuring out what you were doing. How bad was that when you went through that?
The first with the Bears was shocking because honestly, should I? Yeah, I'm going to say it. There's a reason why I don't like Greg Schiano. Greg Schiano became my defensive back coach at the Bears after my rookie year. I had a really good DB coach my rookie year, and we got along. They shuffled the deck, and Greg Schiano was a analyst at the time, and then he became the DB coach. And they had another player on the team whom I was battling for, because you always battle against somebody. We was battling for pretty much the last spot, and Greg Schiano coached him at Penn State. So the writing's on the wall. So therefore, that one sits with me back to this day. I'm still upset about it. So that one hurt, because I knew going in that my chances were tough, but I had a great preseason. Like, for that preseason I was talked about on, and I'm a guy who listens to everything. I read the clips. I listen to sports radio at Chicago. That was even talked about at the time. I was having a great preseason. So they cut me. That one hurt. It took me a minute. The hurt allowed me to stay in shape, because I was so hurt about it. I need to get my mind off of it. So I ran the most I've ever run in my life. So I was ready for all the invites. I was invited to a lot of workouts when I got cut, and people were like amazed I was still in shape. So that led me to the Rams. And the Rams at that time, with Dick Vermeil, Charlie Army was the GM. Charlie Army in that organization at that time was ran the right way. And I had my best time in football in that camp. And when I met with Charlie, Charlie made some statements like, we wanted to pick you in the draft. You didn't run a great time at the combine, so we were not sure you can play corner or you need to play safety. So I came there in the summer and showed them I can play corner too. So they're like, oh, that's great. Then Charlie pulled me aside and said, Van, look, listen, be straight up with you. If you get a concussion while you're here, I can't keep you. Guess what happens? You
got a concussion.
So then I was out. But the great thing about Charlie was he allowed me to play to the last cut, which was, I owe him dearly for that, because he could have cut me first cut, because I got a concussion before the first cut, and he left me on the team because he felt like I was playing well enough to be on the team, but they couldn't go with the injury settlement and all this stuff, so they decided they weren't going to keep me if I got a concussion. So that one didn't hurt so much, because after I got cut, I called my agent and said, look, Edward, that was his name, I'm done. I've had another concussion, I'm just done. So that one didn't hurt. I was moved on right after that one.
So because you had a concussion, you were being smart, if I'm reading it correctly, and say, I don't want to get 12 concussions, and when I'm 50 years old, not know the names of my kids. I'm not trying to exaggerate, but it happens.
No, that's it. No, you're right. This is before CTE. That's why I owe a lot to Al and Sue Green. I think Al and Sue is the reason why I don't have CTE right now, to be honest with you, because I had.
And let me stop. Those are the trainers. They're great people.
Yes.
They're wonderful. They were wonderful, so friendly. People. They would talk to people like me and trust people like me. And for some reason, they told me some things they probably shouldn't have. Never got on TV.
Awesome.
No, that was back in the day when you could trust people and stuff like that. And they loved you. They loved UK, but they were no filter when you're not supposed to be no filter. Saying
they were
things that needed to be done at UK, and they were right, because they talked to me about some of them, and they ended up getting dumped on because they were considered, oh my gosh, you just need to go with the company. And they're going, hey, we love our kids.
Yep.
They loved you guys, and we're trying to protect you, and they were ahead of the time and worked well together. I never heard a bad word about it. Kids loved them, and they got dumped on because they weren't. I don't know how else to put it. Yes sir, no sir. That kind of, instead of saying, why don't you listen to me? I'm good at what I do, and I'm trying to help these kids. And is there a syllable that I'm wrong?
No, I'll say, like I said, they saved me my junior year. That was the only year I didn't lead the team in interceptions. Plug on that. They said I couldn't play the last 3 games of the season. And Coach Curry and Coach Smith had nothing to say about it. They said we were pulling him. It's for his safety. I didn't play the last 3 games of the season. I didn't do anything in spring. I didn't even participate in spring my senior year. I couldn't wear a helmet because of the head trauma. So for them to do that, they really, in all honesty, saved my life. To be honest with you, because I would be in a different spot right now if they wouldn't have done that, for sure.
That's wonderful. By the way, this is a name that a lot of people haven't heard in a long time. I don't remember what time they left UK. I think one was moved to a different department or something. I need to double check that. But they were great people that I thought UK was lucky to have because they cared about the kids. And that also was a time, I'm not pointing a finger at any Kentucky coach. I'm telling you this on purpose. I'm going to make a general comment to see if you agree.
Mhm.
Back in the good old days, your head wrong?
Oh.
Great. Shake it off and get back in there.
For sure.
And there were a lot of people who had concussions during the game, sat out a series or two, and then went back in because they were told to, or they had a fear factor that they would lose their job because someone would think they're soft, so they just played with it. There were some guys in the good old days who later thought they had. Now, they've said this, and I've read it in a lot of articles, and it's tough for me to believe, but you never know, had 40 or 50 concussions because of their head ringing and stuff like that. And after you have a couple, it's easier to get another one, and how ferocious the game is. And it affected them, many of them, later in life.
Exactly. We don't take into account that, like for me, mine were obvious. I got knocked out all times. I was unconscious 3 times. So it was obvious.
You were unconscious. I don't remember 3 times, and I'm not going to remember everything about you. And no disrespect, but you were unconscious. Van Hiles, you were unconscious 3 times when you played football at Kentucky.
Yep. One in what? One in practice. Well, no, the Rams was my 3rd time. One in practice in fall camp. One against Louisiana Monroe. I hit the big tight end. He was wearing the number 22. I thought it was a running back. And the closer I got to him, the bigger he got. So, and I hit him in the wrong spot, got concussion. Then with the Rams, I got knocked out. So mine were obvious. But the offensive linemen and the defensive linemen and sometimes the linebackers, those are not obvious. That is repetitive trauma that people don't take serious enough sometimes. Players especially, because when you get the ring and you know it's there, but you're like, it's not that serious. Because you only have what? A yard contact? But do that 70 plays a game.
Well, here's the other thing. Anybody who didn't play football, and I did not, but I have lifted the helmets, and I can't believe how heavy they are. And that is steel. And steel on steel. I mean, hit the helmet with your hand. It hurts. I mean, this is really thick steel. I don't have the answer, but these helmets are kind of crazy. I'm going to go. Van Hiles, I've got a crazy topic to throw at you. You all right?
Okay.
It just popped in my head.
Hit me.
When I was doing the Bengals radio network for 14 years, I did a lot more reading about the NFL than I do now. I mean, every team that they played, like if they're playing a team out of their division, I would go back from training camp and read all the articles the week of to catch up. You know, whether it's Baltimore and Cleveland and Pittsburgh, I read their papers every week because by the time they played Baltimore, I already knew everything was going on. So that exposed me to a lot of things that I don't do now. I just don't do. During that time period, so, you know, I've been gone a long time. I mean, I started in 2002 and in 2 clips did 14 years. So I'm trying to give you, I started with Dick LeBeau when he was the coach. Okay. And then Marvin. Point is this. There were a lot of articles, in particular offensive linemen, some of them who were very, very good. And it really doesn't give a rat's if you're good or not, but all of them in particular had played a number of years and had a number of concussions, and they didn't know how many. And I want to tell you, read many articles, and I'm really emphasizing that, where the only way they can get over their headaches every single day was to smoke pot in the morning.
Yeah.
And what really ticked me off is that the NFL folks didn't go to bat for these players because what they were doing was wink, wink, illegal. Not that a cop is going to bang on your door and break it down if you're smoking a joint. That's not the point. But it was kind of made like that they were sneaky. Here's the main point, though. I don't believe that all these players made that crap up just for the sake of saying you smoke pot. I believe there was something there that helped them. And so common sense tells me if there's something that had helped them, and I'm not suggesting everybody go out and go smoke pot, and I don't smoke pot, and I don't care if you smoke pot or anybody listening smoke. I really don't. Honestly, I don't care. But if there's something that can help you, and especially with the brain, which is such a problem with NFL players, I thought the NFL was chicken blank for not sticking up for the players for not lobbying congressmen to try to get this passed before there was, medical marijuana and all that kind of stuff, which is a lot more acceptable now, not to get it passed. And I thought the NFL did a disservice and were spitting on the players by not trying to help them. Spitting on them. Do you think that's too strong?
No, that is, you're hitting a nerve that I don't want to get.
No. No, stop it. You've never chickened out with me before.
There's a stigma associated with marijuana, and it's unfortunate. And there's some undertones associated with marijuana that I don't agree with. So they don't go to bat for something that we all knew that it helped. Now, here's the deal. I don't think players knew it helped until they start smoking it recreationally. For them, as you're doing it with your buddies and trying to get that high. Then players start realizing, wait a minute. Wait, I feel better for the next day of practice. So then it turned into, wait, if I can do this, now I don't have to miss a practice, or I don't have to do X, Y, Z to get myself prepared for the next day of practice, because I know I'm in shape, but there's some things that I have issues with, and it calms you down. I played with some guys. I'll tell you a quick story because I don't like smoke. And my parents were 16 and 17 when they had me, and they occasionally smoked, and I'm the reason why they stopped, because I would cough my lungs up when they're smoking. So they stopped. I went to one offensive lineman house. A lot of money. Left tackle made a lot of money.
Talk about now, NFL player?
NFL player.
And if you don't want to say the name, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't want to say it.
No, it's all good.
But it's obvious. It's obvious.
No, it's okay. And I'm interested in the concept, not on you ratting on a friend.
So, I was a rookie that was liked. I was Brian Piccolo Award winner, was voted on by the players. So I had a personality and people liked me. So he invited me to his house. And I think you see more of these, but he was like 6'5", 6'6". He had one of those big doors, like those 2-story doors, right? And I'm like, man, this is a nice house. Wow, this is great. He opens the door, and it was like someone put a fan and blew smoke right into my face. I'm like, dude, what are y'all doing in here? Man, we're getting ourselves ready for tomorrow. I'm like, big man, I can't come in here, man. I don't like smoke. Oh, man, I can do something for you. No, man, I can't. He said, come around the back. I'm like, but big, y'all all inside. So it was a normal thing back in the 1990s where guys did it to help themselves get prepared, not to get the high, but to get themselves ready for the next game. And the NFL, as you said, would penalize guys, and guys had to get get bags of urine from another teammate so they can do the piss test, because back then it was a little bit different than what it is now, where they actually see it coming out of your man part. Back then you can kind of hide it. So yes, the NFL did a disservice to NFL players, to their players, for many years, because for them to penalize you, and not a little slap on the wrist, you could be out of the NFL for a little marijuana.
It's a great story. I'm not going to let you get off this topic without something that I think you'll come up with something funny. You ready?
Okay.
Okay. So how often did guys trade urine to make sure they would pass the test? I don't know how.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know how else to ask you, but to ask you, how many times, Van Hiles, do you know players who literally had to have somebody take a urine test for them or swap it out? One, and two, how often was it?
Oh, I don't want to say all the time, because it was a random test. So all the times that player who knew they were, as we'll call it, dirty, every time, because it was random and you had no idea when the test was. Now I'm going to say, now you could, the trainer could give you a heads up 24 hours before you got the 24-hour notice.
Were they allowed to or no?
No.
It was like a wink, wink.
Yeah,
you kept your mouth shut because you don't want to get the trainer in trouble,
Right.
and he's trying to protect your you know what.
But back in those days, there was not a masking system, a substance that you could take to mask it that quickly. So even though you got the heads up was for you, in my opinion, was to get somebody else to help you out with your piss test. All the time. All the time. This is not just a one-off thing. Now, not everybody was dirty, though, so to speak. I don't like to use the word dirty.
I'm not using the word dirty.
Yeah, not everybody was compromised. But the ones who were, we all knew who they were.
Okay, does a coach and general manager, do they know what's going on? Let me, as you think about it, wait a second.
I can't
how could
say
they
yes
not?
or no.
How could they not? How could they not? Okay, the question when Joe Paterno, who's assistant coach who escapes me, they went through those horrific things.
Mm-hmm.
How could somebody not, I'm not accusing anybody, but question, how could somebody not come forward and say, this person, a very respected defensive coordinator, is having relationships, and this is terrible, and we need to put him in jail and take care of kids and all that kind of stuff. When it's going on all those years, how could nobody not know or pass it? Somebody rats on somebody, especially if it's egregious and going on for a long time. You mean to tell me head coaches don't know? You mean to tell me general managers don't know? You don't mean to tell me that players who move up in management and they knew it happened when they were playing don't whisper it to the general manager if you're an assistant general manager? I have trouble believing that.
If you put two and two together, and I'm just extrapolating this and reading between the lines, I'm not going to say they knew, but I'm going to say this. If the athletic trainer knew and was able to give players a little heads up, I would think the people above him knew too.
Okay, let me try one more time, Van Hiles. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
If they didn't know, they're dumbasses.
Right, what?
Okay?
Well, hold on. I'm going to say this, though.
Come on now.
I'm being a meanie right now.
Wait a second. If you were an offensive lineman and you were doing it for safety and you become an offensive line coach, gee, how many offensive line coaches played offensive line in the NFL? Wow. And you did it and your teammates did it. And now you're a coach and there's a different loyalty that you better protect yourself. You know what? With your head coach. You mean to tell me that word didn't pass around? Look, the locker rooms are gossip. Locker rooms are gossip. Am I wrong? It's gossip. So you're too good not to say that. And I can't swear that this is true. It's impossible for me to believe that all the guys that end up being offensive line coaches, defensive line coaches, and then going into management, and now you have a different responsibility when you're management because if the general manager finds out and now you're an offensive line coach, I'm bringing you in and says, why didn't you tell me about this? Seriously, because you have a responsibility now to the general manager. You don't work.
Yeah.
You don't work for the players. You're supposed to take care of players, but you work for the team. And guess what? And if you don't, they get rid of you. That guy will, I hate this term, blacklist you, but you might not get another job. There's a fine line here. So now, as I presented, you don't believe these guys in management didn't know.
I believe it.
It went on for decades. It's still going on.
Here's the thing. I played on a couple of teams. There are some dumb people in the organization. So I can't say without a shadow of doubt. There are some people who make it to certain positions in organizations for reasons that are unknown to me. But
unknown to mankind.
Yes. So I'm not, that's why it's hard for me to say yes. I mean, come on. I mean, we're looking at the Dallas Cowboys right now. Come on. There are some people who are not the smartest tool in the shed. They might be in the shed. Somebody might brought them in the shed, but they're not the sharpest tool in the shed.
No, but there's still, but wait a second, there still are a lot of smart football players. Not everybody.
Sure.
Okay, so therefore, guess what? People know. And a lot of those smart football players end up moving up.
Yeah, now that is true.
Okay,
I
so
didn't think about
therefore,
that.
once it gets
You're
around,
right.
it gets around.
Yeah, you're right.
And general managers share information. They do.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, and scouts share information.
For
and
sure.
a lot of former players who become scouts, they travel around, they like to talk. I'm not look, this whole BS is that when guys say, girls are catty, they just love to talk. I go, shut up. Guys like to talk just as much.
We talk more.
I'm glad you said that. I'm not going to disagree with you.
We're talking more.
Okay, is there a conclusion to this?
The
Now,
conclusion.
I got to ask you one more before we get a conclusion. You're going to tell me the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
promise? You really promise?
Yeah.
Did anybody ever come to you and say, Van, would you fill up the cup for me?
No.
Never?
No.
And one more. If you play defensive or offensive line, do you think somebody would have come to you?
Probably.
Okay.
If I played in the room. Right, here's the thing about me, Mr. Cutler. I was never around. I know it's crazy for me to say. I'm an introvert. I was really an only child for the majority of my life before my sister was born 12 years later. I was not into that scene of being around. Once football was over, I went home. So I didn't party. I didn't go out much. So I wasn't in the group for people to ask because I just wasn't around.
Okay. But if you're in the room in a DB room with that kind of stuff.
And I'm definitely doing it. I am doing it for them because I know they're not doing anything. They're not doing cocaine or heroin or the hard drugs. The marijuana is like, come on, y'all. But that's just me.
I appreciate your honesty with that. Is there a conclusion here that we didn't get to that I stopped you?
Oh, no. The conclusion just overall is just this, y'all. I am feeling so much better about this season. I have been able to talk to people who know stuff, and I can read between the lines. This team is going to have a season, I believe, if we can stay healthy, and how the other teams within the conference. This is not the best season, in my estimation, for the SEC. We are going to shock the world if we can stay healthy. I'm feeling better and better. I think that the schedule lines up for us well because the teams that are having issues, we play them a little earlier, like the Ole Miss game. If we can play mistake-free football and be healthy, this is going to be a season where people are going to remember. I think I said this on here last week. This is going to be a special season. Not going to be a 9-win, 10-win season, but it's going to be a season where people are going to be like, oh, okay, we are back to being Kentucky.
I said they're going to go to a bowl game early this week after giving it a great deal of thought.
No, I don't like that, Mr. Cutler, because the bowl game means 6 wins. No, I think we're better than 6 wins.
Maybe.
I think we go to a decent bowl.
Okay. I hope you're right.
Like Charlotte.
That'd be nice. Let's put it this way. I said this also on the air. I'll be more shocked. Let me get my second sentence out because you're about to jump on me. And Van, I'm so sensitive when it comes to you. I will be more shocked. Let me finish because you're going to jump on me. Promise me. If they win 3 games, than I would be if they win 8 games.
Wow.
And I said this the other day on the air. I'm not predicting 8 games. Predictions are just what they are. They're just predictions.
Right.
But I have been talking to some people as well. I know you know some other people that you're more inside with some players and coaches and whatever. And you're not going to tell me names. I don't need to know names, and I respect that. But I do think the league is down a little bit. I do think some of the quarterbacks who are replacing really good quarterbacks might end up being special, but the guys that they were replacing weren't specials when they started out as starting quarterbacks, and maybe this will be an exception. For example, I think the kid at Ole Miss, the lefty, I can't think of his name. I've looked at a bunch of tape. He's really good. And he's waited 2 years, and he's really cocky. I'm trying to, as I'm stretching this to try to come up with his name, but whatever. I think he's got a chance of being. Yeah, NFL scouts going to be watching him. He's got a touch. He's got the whole thing. He waited his turns. Oh, Jimmy, God bless you. Austin Simmons.
Yes.
Jimmy again to the rescue. I think the kid who's moving up from UCLA as a flip-flop quarterbacks, he could be really, really, really good and not an NFL quarterback. I don't know if his arm is good enough. I need to see more. So some of the kids replacing, and the kid at Georgia, he was a stud in high school. So there's a lot of new quarterbacks. They're all not going to hit in all probability. They're all not going to be busts in all probability. But some of them are going to be on radars for NFL the following year, but probably not from game 2 or game 4 or game 6. And so I think the league won't be the same. So that's why I predicted a bowl game. So really quick, you're saying how many wins?
I'm saying 7 right now. I'm saying they go at least 7-5. I was on the 6 bandwagon before anybody else. I was on that during spring. I'm like, these guys are going to, after I saw the roster turnover, like they're going to win 6. I can legitimately see 8 if everything goes right like it went at 2018, 2021, they can win 8. I don't see 9.
Wait a second. If everything goes right, that's asking a lot. I mean, by the way, in any football team.
No. Here's the if. The if is health, they stay healthy, and they protect the ball offensively. Those are the 2 biggest if. If we can stay healthy, we win 7 games. If we cannot turn the ball over, we win 8.
You're missing one thing as far as I'm concerned. I agree with everything, but there's one little thing you're missing.
What's
and
that?
You're a big-time football player. Matter of fact, Jimmy, do me a favor. Cue up clip 5 from Zach, which is short. I'm going to throw this at Van. He's got it already, and then we'll say goodbye. I kept you way too long, and I apologize. But this was a great.
It's game week. It's game week.
This is a great conversation. Everything you said, I agree with, but there's one more.
Okay.
How they do on 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2, because they sucked. Okay, and I have said this many times. They sucked, and I have said this many times that Bush Hamden couldn't call the game the way he wanted to call because he didn't have the horses, and he was calling plays with a chastity belt on last year. I don't know how else to. Jimmy, can I say that? You're not hitting the button, are you?
Yes.
Okay. He was. So we have no idea, and you understand. I have ties to Boise that you don't. And so, because I did TV in Boise. My wife is from Boise.
Oh, wow.
I'm still in contact with some people there who have ties to Boise State. He's really smart. They were ticked off when he left. They understood it, but they were really ticked off. I think he's a really smart dude. And I think he's going to call the game differently this year because he can. Because, it was 3rd and 5 instead of 3rd and 1. And then when it was 3rd and 1, he's probably going, well, what the hell? Can I get 1 yard? If you can, Stoops' first press conference, I've said this many times, in his first press conference, being introduced, he said, we have to be able to run the ball on 3rd and 1. The whole stadium knows we're going to run the ball, and we have to be able to do it. They didn't do it last year. They didn't do it the year before. They did it in 2019. If they can do that again, that allows him to take different chances on play calling that he couldn't do last year. If they do that with everything else you said, they have a shot at 8 wins.
Yeah.
You're going to say I'm right again?
No, I thought Jim was going to cue it up first. If you want to play it,
I got to set it up a little bit more. I just need to hear you say I'm right again.
You right. You just said the most operative thing is, remember 2019. I want people to understand. Offensive football is usually played 10 on 11. When you can get the quarterback in the run game, you're playing 11 on 11. You have an extra hat as a blocker. We was able to run the ball playing 11 on 11 in 3rd and short in 2019. If Brock was able to run the ball like I thought he would be able to, and I'm sure how Bush thought he was going to be able to from his high school film and from his little spot duty at Georgia, if he's unable to run the ball, we have a problem, and that was the biggest problem. Quarterback power is maybe one of the best plays in the history of mankind. There's no better play than quarterback power.
Okay.
And if you can't run it, you have problems.
I apologize for stepping on you. Dowdell and McGovern are the 2 guys, especially Dowdell, who's going to have to get 3rd and 1. It's a quarterback saying nice things about his running backs. We all know that. Here's a short clip on Calzada, especially because we haven't seen a lot of him, because I thought it was smart they're holding him out for the season. They don't want him too banged up. So this is what he said about the 2 running backs. Make a comment. I'll say goodbye, and thank you so much. Play it, Jimmy.
Oh, man, I'm excited for those guys. Both really tough runners, quick, agile, they're fast. Man, I'm just as excited as you to watch them play, so I'm excited to get them the ball and see what they can do.
Those 2 guys, and they've got 4 running backs, but those 2 guys on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 have to be able to convert. If they do, that goes to my thing. And give me 2 lines, and I got to go. And thank you so much. Seriously, it was a great conversation. It's who thought when you woke up today you were going to talk about marijuana and pot and all kinds of things? By the way, do you think I knew?
I know.
No, actually, you spurred me onto it. You really did. You did when you talked about what it was like when you got cut. Those were great, live, real, human interest stories that if anybody can't relate to, then you shouldn't be listening to my show. I mean, really. I mean, what you said was from the heart. What happened to you, how you got screwed. A lot of guys have gotten screwed like that. Yeah, the coach has one of his players. How am I going to beat that guy out? Your last thought.
We haven't had these size running backs since Chris Rodriguez. That
Bingo.
says it all.
Yep.
That says it all.
Bless you, brother. I appreciate your time. Give yourself a plug for everything you do and your new podcast you're on, and give yourself a great plug for everything. And dude, you see what I'm doing?
Appreciate it.
From the heart. And then you can say, of course, bye to Jimmy, not me, and I get that. Give yourself a great plug. Jimmy's laughing.
The Locker, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just got introduced as the fourth member of KSR Football Podcast Mondays. It's going to be around 2 p.m.-ish. Jimmy, I need you on that line of scrimmage, my brother. When I come back to Lexington, I'm going to get these hands on you.
We're going to have to run it up. I don't know how well I can move anymore, but
same here. I can't.
We'll go half speed.
Okay, that's walk it through.
Yeah.
Well, if you walk it through, bet's on Jimmy, because then all he's got to do is leap. And you might have done 6'8" back in the day.
Oh, I can't do 4'8".
But that was when Harry Truman was president.
Oh no, Geraldine Ford.
Hell of a football player he was.
Exactly.
Bless you, dude. Thank you so much.
I
anytime. Appreciate your knowledge and your stories are absolutely unequivocally first class. I'm lucky and blessed you do the show.
I'm lucky for you guys to bring me on your platform. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Have a great day.
All right, same to y'all.
Van Hiles. He's great, isn't he?
He's awesome.
He really is. Let's see. I have to ask him sometime. Is he going to have like 4 TVs going tonight with all the games tonight? Not only all the games on Sunday, the split screens and stuff like that. Blue Lotus Health was there today. Oh, what a blessing. I could get acupuncture lying on my back because my eye allows me to do that now. So, thank you, Ramon. He's great. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist. Acupuncture, Blue Lotus Health on Versailles Road. You deserve the best help you can get. It's really that simple. And Ramon Carrieg is a special man, and he's really good at what he does. I can't recommend him enough. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. Steve Tressel coming up next. Alan Cutler, thank you, Van. That was great. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no-filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
It's summertime, and that means it's time to hit the road. Whether you're heading across town or across the state, going on a picnic, to a baseball game, or driving to the lake, stop.
Of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
The
W223CV Lexington.
ESPN Sports Radio 1392.5, WLXG Lexington, and LM Communications Broadcasting Station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. If you go to Legends games, you've probably seen him up there or maybe heard him down the third baseline or first baseline. He's enthusiastic and vivacious, and Legends are lucky to have him. And starting on Saturday, we will be at Campus Pub, a couple blocks from the stadium, so you can park there, get some great food, and then walk to the game. Our pregame show will start an hour and 45 before the game and 15 minutes before the game, so that gives you enough time to get to the stadium and watch the game. Steve Tressler, how are you, man?
Hey, how we doing, Alan?
I'm good. So I'm guessing you're excited for the season, but before we get into football, what is the best thing that you've run across with the Legends this year?
Oh, wow. Well, the best thing, first of all, thanks for having me on.
Sure.
Appreciate that. The best thing I've had happen this year, I think, or the team has had happen, I should say, is Dylan Rock, who you had on your show not too long ago, tying a record that has been done maybe 5 times in the history of professional baseball, with 8 straight games with a home run. That was pretty impressive. Joining Don Mattingly and Ken Griffey and I think Gil Hodges, that was pretty amazing.
I think it was Dale. I think it was Dale Long, wasn't it? Dale Long.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Was he Pittsburgh?
Dale Long was the first baseman for Pittsburgh and the Yankees, and it was when I was a child. He was a better fielding first baseman than a hitter, but he had that stroke going and that right field porch, and it was magic for him. It was one of those things where he was never going to the Hall of Fame, but for about a week and a half, he was smoking.
Yeah, he was a story. But yeah, that's probably the most exciting thing now. The Legends are a game and a half out of first place right now, so they're if they can take first place in the second half, they make the playoffs, and then they have a chance to win the Atlantic League, which would be really exciting for the first-year manager there, Paul Fletcher.
We had Fletcher on. He seems like a really good dude, and it sounds like there's been more of a revitalization of the Legends, and I hear, but you tell me if I'm right, the crowds have been better and enthusiastic, and it's a lot more fun at the ballpark than it was, let's say, 3 years ago.
That's a perfect analogy. That is absolutely true. The manager, the skipper there, Fletcher, the guys love him. They love playing for him. He's a great people manager. Gets along with everybody really well, but is not afraid to get into them when they're not doing what they're supposed to, or if they're not playing baseball the way it should be played. He's quick to let them know that he doesn't like what he sees, and their love and respect for him, they fix it right away.
Tell me why, if you are, whatever you feel, Steve, as we're going to do the show at Campus Pub, which is food is great place to hang out, and you can walk to the game.
Oh yeah,
and start out there and walk there after the game, have a couple cold ones and something to eat, that kind of thing. Tell me why, if you're enthusiastic for the season. Give me your top reason or two.
Well, you know what? I've got multiple reasons, but my top reason, let's see, probably the clarity we have at quarterback position. With Zach, I think he's a proven winner. Everything I've started to read on him, I've liked. The more and more I've learned about him, the more I've liked that selection really for the Kentucky team. I think Cutter Boley will probably be a great backup as well. But, when you read on Zach Calzada, I don't know if you even know this, but his family is originally from Cuba, I think.
I do. We've talked about it.
So his grandparents immigrated here, and I think he was raised with a level of just appreciation for all the opportunities that his family has given him, and how much they sacrificed. And so it means a lot to him just to be a part of something like this. And his upset of Alabama, 4 years ago when they were ranked number 1 when he was at A&M, I think they brought in a kid that's a winner, and I believe this is like 7th year of college football. So, they've got a guy who's also mature and he's learning to be a leader. And I think he said as much as that in one of the interviews I saw. So that's probably the main thing. And then also with 50 new players coming in, you call it a rebuild. Maybe it's a reload, right? Because you've got 50 guys and not a single one missed a workout. That would have hurt 100%. So that's pretty amazing. And I think that'll bid well for this team.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 100%, Steve, not to correct you, but it's close, I understand. And apparently when there was a little problem, Stoops talked about this. The beauty of that is, because you got a lot of kids, this, Steve, not everything's going to be perfect, but the coaches didn't have to deal with it. The players dealt with it. And that wasn't true for a couple of years around here. And when the players take care of it, the coaches just smile, and then things get fixed quicker. As you know, in the NFL, head coaches don't manage the locker room. If a head coach has to manage the locker room, that team ain't going to the playoffs. It's just not how it goes. So, yeah, the attendance and all this stuff is better. And we've talked about his family being from Cuba, and I couldn't agree with you more. We've talked about it, the fact that there's an appreciation when someone sees a family member sacrifice and struggle and do things to help out the next generation. You'd have to be a fool. And I think the overwhelming majority of people who go through this, and it's all over the world, when you see your parents or grandparents or whatever struggle to make your life better, it's a natural appreciation. I think this kid has it. And it makes me want to, as much as I like Cutler, it makes me want to root for this kid even more.
Yeah, and I think he speaks, with that same level of maturity when you hear him talk in interviews. And I think the 100% is true now. That was a direct quote from Mark Stoops in his press conference. He said they had 100% participation in these summer workouts. And I think he said only a couple times was somebody late, and then that, I think, is what you're referring to, is when the players pulled that person aside. You can't run a team or an organization with 100-plus people without great top-down leadership. I think Mark Stoops went into this season with a real sense of urgency and cleaned out, I think, the things he needed to, and let people go that he needed to. And it sounds like, even if let's say, we're both wrong. Let's say it was 99% of the team showed up for these summer workouts. Well, it sounds like he made some real good changes, and he made some real good selections on who he brought in. And it sounds like they got the right people in the right spots.
Absolutely. Steve, get a plug for what we're doing tomorrow. I'm thinking today's Friday. Come on, I don't even know what day it is. What we're doing on Saturday.
All right. Well, tomorrow you can listen to Sarah Football at 7 p.m. on 105.5 Kentucky's Classic Country, Hank FM. But Saturday on ESPN, myself and you will be at Campus Pub live, and should be a good time. We'll have a bunch of schedule posters for Kentucky's football season to pass out, and we'll have some trivia going on. We'll have a couple contests for the people in attendance. We might even buy somebody, some lunch on the house if they can come up with some good answers. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited you're going to be there. Both of us there. I don't think they will lack for energy in the building, and I think we're going to have a great time. And hopefully Kentucky will take care of business, and it'll be really a setup for the rest of the season.
Sounds great. Hey, Steve, thank you so much. Looking forward to us having a little fun for about an hour and a half on Saturday at Campus Pub. Thanks, dude.
Hey, I'll be excited to see you. Thanks to you and to Jimmy.
All right, man. Steve Tressler. Jimmy, he's got energy upon energy upon energy. I saw a clip of him doing stand-up. He's good. Seriously, he's good. It was like, I didn't know you did that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm trying to remember, where did I see the clip recently? I saw it. I'm going, God bless you, dude. Tressler isn't shy. 1,000 years ago, he was an intern for us. And Steve has done a lot of things in life and represented America, traveled literally the world in the armed forces and what he did to help out America. I've told him thank you for his service and what he's done. He is a great American. So it really is. And so wonderful that We're going to be together for, well, he'll be at every game. I'm going to miss a couple of games, but it sounds like a lot of fun. This is also could be fun if you get helped and if you need help. Natural Healing and Pain Relief.com. Check it out. Get an appointment for free. Terry Page will give you a 15-minute spot. Talk to her about what you need done, how she can help you, not just as a massage therapist working on problems, but she is a healer. She's been great to me. 859-373-0578. In Butler, the first 2 days of the week, the rest of the week, she's here in Lexington. Call her, text her, set up an appointment through the end of the month. $5 off if you schedule before the end of the month. And when you leave, for the next 2 appointments, $10 off, all following appointments in succession. This deal is through the end of the month. So you got another day. I don't know if she's going to extend it or not, but I will find out. Terry Page, 373-0578. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313. Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quattro family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
It's summertime, and that means it's time to hit the road. Whether you're heading across town or across the state, going on a picnic, to a baseball game, or driving to the lake, stop by, fill up, and stock up at Clark's Pump and Shop, your road trip headquarters.
Clark's Pump and Shop has everything you need to get you to your summertime destination, including assorted Jolly Ranger or Twizzler peg bags, 2 for $5, and Jacqueline's 2-ounce steak strip or extra large beef and cheese, 2 for $6.
Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Just a lot of preparation and a lot of reps. And I think, like you said, that rust, it started at the beginning of camp and just, taking advantage of every single rep. We've been practicing different situations since the beginning of camp, and we know that every situation that we practice, we might only get 1 or 2 shots at that before the game comes. So just, making sure that we've taken every rep seriously and made the most of every rep, every practice, over the last month and getting ready for this game.
All quarterbacks you assume are serious, okay? So I don't want to blow this up like he's the only one. But, Jimmy, you'll agree with me, I think, that he's got an air when we've heard him. He hasn't done that many media appearances, but when we've heard him, you get a feeling that there's a seriousness about him, which you like and you expect, and a sense of urgency because, he has like 43 years of experience it's kind of like in dog years, don't you think? He's got all this experience as a football player, and he knows all too well, going to be 25. He can still play in the NFL if he has a great year. They're not going to pick him because he's 25, because you can play when you're 35. And so this age thing isn't what it used to be. Not picked as high, but I mean, if he has a great year, will he be in somebody's camp or drafted? Absolutely. If he has a great year, there's an if. And I don't know. I'm not looking for it, but I can really feel his sense of urgency. Do you feel that too?
Yeah, it's urgency, and then it's kind of just a calm confidence that he has. You can tell just his body language and when he speaks that he's not being arrogant, but he has a lot of confidence in himself, and I think that comes across.
And if you're in the huddle and you can feel his confidence,
Yeah.
that makes everyone, when you come to that word that all coaches use, straining on the offensive line, it only helps. And plus, if you think you have someone special back there, and if the line thinks that, no matter what anybody says, people will protect a little bit more when it's like, I got to protect the franchise. And so if he comes off like a franchise quarterback, it'll be special. Let's switch to Seth McCowan, and we might only get one in, and we'll play the rest tomorrow. Look, his story's been told many times. He screwed up. He went to jail. He could have been in jail for 70 years. He got out. People make mistakes. Duh. It's what you do with your second chance. He has said everything right. Everything right. He has a feeling that he communicates of appreciation because he really could have thrown it all away. Literally. And if that doesn't change it, and it doesn't change everybody when it happens, if that doesn't change it, who knows? But he's a studly running back. And I'm really excited to watch him play. And so here's an obvious thought, but I really like his words when he talks about, hey, I'm finally going to get to play for Kentucky. We're going to play for real. And he's back in big-time college football.
Overjoyed. Honestly, I think the energy this week and last week been through the roof. Just knowing that, we got a pretty good challenge this weekend. Toledo, obviously being picked to win the MAC. I'm pretty sure they had some good six last year playing SEC opponents. So it'll be a great challenge for week one. A great way for us to show our fans what we've been building over the summer. And I'm excited.
He's excited. I can feel it. I can see it. And Van brought everything out except the one thing I added to it, how they're going to be on 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2. It's really that simple. We're going to play one more, and we'll get out on time. Clip number 2, Jimmy, talking about what the offensive is, and he uses the word more than once that I like. Here's Seth McCowan.
Fast, strong, and we like to be one of those guys. We're going to beat you with our feet. We're going to beat you with our brain, too.
Beat you with our feet and beat you with our brain, too. Jimmy, how often do you hear a football player say, we'll beat you with our feet and we'll beat you with our brain, too? First of all, I don't know this kid. I haven't talked to him. We just take sound. I'm not going around and doing interviews. That day is come and gone. I have no desire to do it, but I'm desired for information. And come on, I've done a million of these sound bites for the last, going back to the 1970s, and I don't remember running back say, we're going to beat you with our feet and brains. That was very impressive, yes?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard a running back that. If anything, that sounds like an offensive lineman kind of statement. Like we're gonna beat you with our brain, with our blocking schemes that we're gonna scheme up for you, whatever. But you don't hear players, if anything, just more coaches would say that. But to have him, the running back, say it, that I don't really know what to make of it or how they're gonna beat other teams with their brain. But it tells you they're a confident, smart veteran team.
And he apparently has done a very nice job counseling and taking some younger players underneath his wing, because he can say, I've been to jail, I've done this, I've done that, this is my last chance, let's make the most of it, those kinds of things. And if you're 18 years old, and is he 21? I think he is. As you double check me on that, he looks older than whatever his age is. He's been around the block. He's had some tough times, but if he's talking to you and you're 17 or 18 or maybe 19 years old and you're a freshman, a redshirt freshman or something like that, and he's there to put his arm on you, I think it's very impressive. I want to thank Van Hiles. What a great, great day of stories, from talking about how life was in the NFL and how it ended. It was amazing trying to beat out a guy who used to play for Greg Schiano, and Greg Schiano was his DB coach, and Schiano was his kid's college coach, and some of the things he went through, and when he decided to quit after getting another concussion instead of just going around and trying again. Very powerful, very powerful. And the power of marijuana to football players, I've always wanted to have that discussion with somebody who was great about it and how they would what? You had to take a urine test, and guys would have someone take the urine test for them. And it went on all the time in the NFL. They're a little stricter and smarter about it now, but I will always believe that a lot of people, coaches and general managers, knew what the hell was going on. It's impossible. It went on for years on so many teams and so many locker rooms. They had to know. Do you got McCown's age before we say goodbye?
I couldn't find it. Even Google on his the athletics page, ESPN, it doesn't have his date of birth. With him being a senior, I would guess between 20 and 21.
Yeah, but, because
Maybe
he was in jail
older.
and stuff like that, I'm guessing 22, maybe 20, whatever. He looks older. He's not a spring chicken. We'll leave it at that. Jimmy, as always, thank you so much. Fan didn't say goodbye to you like he usually says goodbye to you and not me.
Not at the very end. He gave you the last goodbye today.
It really worried me.
Steve Tressel, he's afraid of our one-on-one matchup coming up.
You have the height, especially at you both at your age having a lack of speed. Mark Beyer, play-by-play man for Toledo. Gene Abel, regular guest. Cisco Bryant, regular guest, and maybe one or two more. It's going to be a busy Friday. Thank you for tuning in. Podcast will be up at 2:30, and I'm telling you, if you missed the Van Hiles things, that was very, very, very special. Have yourself a great day. Thank you so much.